Thank you, Dr. Bruas, for the introduction and for your mentorship. My name is Zache, and I'm honored to be here as one of the National Association for Gifted Children's 2023 Javitz Frasier Scholars. It means a great deal to be recognized with other educators who share my dedication for improving access to effective, adaptive, inclusive, and responsive education. As a gifted learner educated in Arizona, I've seen firsthand how pivotal identification and finding the right fit can be. Frankly, money and an understanding of how to find and access systemic resources were not a part of my early childhood. I don't say this to shame my parents or to ignore the privileges I was born with. My parents, with my best intentions in mind, tried Montessori schools, charter schools, gifted placement, as well as content and grade acceleration to find an appropriate challenge. We know as educators, there are not always easy answers. In 1995, Dr. Mary Frasier, one of the namesakes of the scholarship program, led a team at the University of Georgia that found that there are 10 talents, aptitudes, and behaviors that are often found in the gifted and talented. Gifted learning was clearly an important issue at this time. Arizona's governor, Fife Symington, declared 1995 the year of the gifted learner. Coincidentally, I was born in 95, so this was clearly a good year for gifted learners. These 10 talents, attributes, and behaviors or tabs are intense interests, strong motivation, creative problem solving through logical reasoning, tireless inquiry, vivid imagination, unbound creativity, a vast memory, precise communication, and sharp humor. I'd like to honor Dr. Frasier's work at the National Research Center on the Gifted and Talented, as it certainly impacted my own learning, while I share a bit about my experience as a Javitz Frasier Scholar. The first tab is intense interests. In 2022, I moved from a 6th grade classroom into the role of my school's gifted specialist. My district gifted coordinator and a professional mentor informed me of an amazing opportunity, a chance to join the NAGC, to visit their annual conference, and to work directly with educators who've written the books I've studied. My interest did not waver, and I religiously checked the NAGC's website for updates the following year. The second is motivation, evidence of desire to learn. Here's my motivation to learn and for teaching where I do. Roadrunner Elementary stands less than 2 miles from the mobile home where my parents raised me for the first few years of my life. It's a community like no other, but the rural charm that makes it familiar can complicate the experience of the kids in our community. I know the students I serve deserve every chance to enable, challenge, and enrich themselves through their learning. And my role as a gifted specialist has offered me the chance to help find the right fit for more students. Furthermore, the Javitz Frasier Scholarship has given me resources and knowledge to continue to succeed in this endeavor. The third and fourth tab that Dr. Mary Frasier found are problem solving and reasoning, developing effective or inventive strategies for recognizing and solving problems through logical and well-reasoned approach. In my first year as a gifted specialist, I worked to balance hectic schedules, new procedures and paperwork, and as a former 6th grade teacher to better understand the littles in my classroom. I was encouraged to embrace a new aspect of teaching, deep and meaningful engagement with the standards through project-based learning. I was able to teach and coach identified students in my classroom and push out to deliver intentional instruction and thinking skills to entire grade levels at my site. This year, I've been able to reflect, fine-tune my instruction, and put evidence-based practices in place to identify and serve more learners. My problem-solving toolbox has grown as a result of my experience with NAGC, as it has here. I'm grateful to be here, learning together and celebrating the 50th year of AAGT. Fifth, gifted students often exhibit a strong sense of inquiry, questioning, experimenting, exploring. After coming home from the NAGC conference, I've looked at my classroom, my school, and my district with a new lens and renewed dedication. I've improved my practice, developing solutions to known problems and identifying needs previously undiscovered. I've asked myself and my administration some hard questions, working through collaboration and compromise to put students first. In sharing struggles and goals with my fellow Javitz Frasier scholars, I was inspired by their problem solving to further question the limits of what we can do to improve the learning our students engage in. Gifted learners are imaginative and creative. They produce novel ideas, quickly grasping new concepts and making connections. Imagination and creativity are critical skills for me as I develop experiences and activities into lessons or assess learning and refine units. Based on my students' mastery, needs, and interests, my approach and resources must change. As an NAGC member, I've been able to stretch my imagination through inspiration in conference halls and online interest groups. The Javitz Frasier Scholarship has given me access to a wealth of knowledge and resources through dedicated educators and advocates like those who are here today. Gifted learners have access to an expansive memory, and my experiences with NAGC and AAGT have been incredibly memorable. The strength of the collective dedication of this community is impactful, and the impact of that strength is anything but ephemeral. Communication. It's vital that great ideas can be shared. I'm grateful to be here and share my perspective, to communicate how impactful this journey has been, and to have the chance to thank those who have been instrumental in my journey. I hope I've been able to convey how valuable the efforts and experiences of this community of educators has been to me, both as an economically underserved gifted learner and nearly 20 years later as an educator working to serve those same students. Oh, and I can't forget the last tab, humor. I'm very grateful that NAGC held their conference at Disney's Coronado Springs in Orlando. As a Javitz Frasier scholar, I was able to take my family to Disney World on an educator's salary. Thank you once again to AAGT for improving the education that I received here in Arizona. Thank you to Dina Bruez and Karen Brown. Thank you to my administration. Thank you to my principal for being here today. Thank you to Michelle Thielen, to Marianne Landreth, and the rest of AAGT's leaders and members. Thank you to the educators who've inspired me on my journey. Thank you to my family for always supporting me. And thank you, yes, all of you, for allowing me to stand up here and thank people, because I will likely never win an Oscar.